stop and smell the roses. Hi everybody, this is Patty, the Tinkerer's wife, again from Tinkerer's Paradise, this time in my house. I went out today and I cut some roses from one of probably my favorite rose ever. This one has a lot of history with it and it is absolutely delightful. Its only fault is that it only blooms once. But it's a beauty and well worth waiting for every year. It's kind of like the friend that comes to visit once a year. I love it. This is Rosa gallica. Now I have a couple different kinds here, and it has some common names associated with it. You'll hear it called Rosa Monday or the apothecary's rose, maybe even, where's my notes here? I took some notes because there's a lot of things I didn't know about it. Oh, Provence rose from a small town in France, in southeast France. It has long been held as a plant of apothecary. The pharmacists of old used it, and it is still used medicinally and in all the other ways it was used. It is a long-standing favorite of many. It is believed that in the 7th century it was first discovered in the Middle East, which kind of makes sense because when the Crusaders went down and battled in Syria and Turkey, they had brought this rose back with them between the 12th and 13th century. It came. The 13th century is, there's more established evidence that that's when it came in, but it was the brave knights who fought in the Crusades that brought it back. And what a gift that was to Central Europe. Anyway, there are notes. It's a little confusing when you look at the history of it because it says that it's native from South and Eastern Europe down to Turkey, which is a little further east, over to the Caucasus. And yet it's supposedly native or first discovered other places, and it was brought back to especially Europe. So there's a little bit of confusion there, and that happens when something's as old as this. Thank God that I am not that old. There's already enough confusion around me, right? At least my husband would say that. Well, anyhow, the 12th and 13th centuries, the 13th century specifically, they began cultivation of it. In 1500, this is important. In 1500, the monks who had really gotten hold of this because they liked them, what they could earn being pharmacists, they were making money off of the Rosa Monday, which is this plain red one. And one of them discovered this beauty. This is Rosa versicolor. Actually, this one isn't as nice of a specimen. I've got a better one over here. Look at that. So the pink striation was added to the red, a striping, as it were, and Rosa versicolor was born. This is traditionally called the apothecary's rose, and for that reason is, I think, in every herbal manual or book ever written, or if not, it should be. It has a lot of uses, but let's not get to the uses yet. Let's go to 1900. The French began breeding this rose, and from this rose we got the damask rose, the albas, and the centifolias. The fragrance of this rose was bred into other things, and these are the roses that we got. I don't know if this was selected varieties, and my guess is it might have been. I don't know how many other roses that they had to cross-pollinate, so forth and so on, and make stable plants. You know, those of us who garden know about F1 hybrids. I don't know how that all worked. I wasn't there. That would have been awesome to be there. being a propagator at heart, that would have been cool. But what an exciting time for them to come up with all these wonderful, beautiful, fragrant roses. And in those days, they didn't have the things to keep things clean and make things smell nice. And so, you know, it was a thing where when things smelled nice, they were really popular. In those days, they used them culinarily for tea, probably to flavor honey, I would imagine too, because these do have a flavor to them. Rose water was something that was made, especially in Turkey and Greece, probably in Rome as well. Rose water is popular for cosmetic purposes. Women, prior to the Renaissance, believed that these petals could be put on their face and that they would improve their skin. And they did find out, they discovered not long after that, that these have essential oils in them. So the women weren't wrong, really. You know, so beauty beget beauty. Okay, let me see if I'm forgetting anything here. There were so many things. Oh, yeah. Greek and Romans started cultivating these. I think I said that already in the 1900s. So there's been a lot of interest in these roses, and still today, this rose is a very popular rose in cultivation. I've had it in my garden for over 10 years, and though it's kind of run amok, because it has what I call a colonizing habit, where it'll run underground and then pop up. I used to be able to take a shovel and cut it and keep it where it needed to be, but my health being what it was, I became unable to do that, and so I started having what I called the rose riot. Every year at this time, my roses would bloom, and one corner of my garden looked like a riot of color with these things. It was great. It was great. There's a small riot going on out there right now, so I still have it. And chances are, when we redo our front yard, I'm probably going to go ahead and dig up a piece of this rose, because I really love this rose. I really do. It is nearly disease-free. It does get here later in the summer, it'll get a little mildew on it. I don't spray anything. I don't worry about it. It really doesn't look bad. When we have really bad mildew years, when our maple trees get mildew, it can kind of look tatty then, but most of the time you don't even notice it. You know, the aphids chew on it, doesn't seem to bother them at all that kind of stuff. So it is a really, really great little plant. The bees absolutely love the roses, so this is a good pollinator plant. I would definitely have it for that reason. It can be grown in a container, a large container. Then you can have your rose riot in your container. Yeah, a party in a container. There you go. So anyway, I want to give you, before I finish here, I want to give you a little recipe that you can try. Now you could probably do this with any well-scented rose, especially the old roses, but I would recommend that if you can find this Rosa gallica, the Versicolor, or the Rosamunde, the red one, or even just get the dry petals, you'll still be able to do this to make a tea. You're going to use 5 teaspoons of rose petals, 4 cups of boiling water, and you put the rose petals in the boiling water. Of course, take it off the heat, and you let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes. Strain it, and then you pour it into a beautiful teacup. Add some honey to sweeten it to your desire, and you have a beautiful cup of rose tea. I didn't make any out of my flowers because I'm just enjoying the fragrance, which right now is pretty heady with my face in them like this. But I just wanted to give you this profile of this wonderful little rose, and recommend that you maybe think about it, especially those of you who are homesteaders. This is a great little easy care rose that grows so easily. By the way, it does get some hips, but they're not something you can really use They're small and not very showy at all. And they have a lot of seeds in them, so they're not really something you can use. If you want one, you can get the Rosa villosa or the apple rose. It will produce large hips that are as large as the end of my thumb, and they're a brilliant red, easy to clean out, and really good for making jellies or adding into whatever. They do taste like apples, by the way. Apples are in the rose family, so that's where apples get their flavor. So I just thought I'd share that with you today, but I want to thank you for spending time with me today. I want to thank all of you who have subscribed to my channel. It has been a blessing to watch all the new faces come into the room, and you know, I just can't say enough how much it blesses me to know that people are interested in what I like to do and in life around here at Tinker's Paradise, which can get pretty crazy sometimes. So I know that my husband loves these. Most guys, whether they want to admit it or not, like fragrant things. So this is a rose he particularly loves, so we'll be keeping it. But anyhow, thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart so much. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you are here for the first time, thank you for visiting. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you want to receive notifications, be sure to click on the bell so you can get notifications of when I have a new video up. But again, thank you so much. This is Patty, the Tinkerer's wife, signing off. God bless.